Have you ever wondered about the bones of a story? What did the outline look like before the characters hijacked it? Ophelia Kee always wondered the same things about her own stories. As a discovery writer, the chaotic pantser style, not even the author knew how the tales in the Draoithe Saga would go until they went. Backward analyzing one story while busy writing the next tale or two somehow never happened. Apparently, OK put things off long enough, and some fancy computer magic will provide us with those long-wished-for story overviews. We can finally X-ray the tales from the dream and see their skeletons. Shall we investigate the next story in the dream?
So today, we're going to dive into Ophelia Kee's paranormal romance, Dark Oath. Now this is a story that really gets into some heavy stuff. Dark magic, deep trauma, and a choice that feels, well, truly impossible. To really get it, we've got to break down the world, the characters, and the central conflict that sits right at its heart.
You know, the author opens the book with this line, and it's honestly the perfect place for us to start. This isn't just a plot with characters, it's an invitation to step into a completely different reality. So yeah, consider this your official ticket into what the book calls the dream.
Okay, so before we can even begin to understand our main characters, we have to get the lay of the land. We need to understand the world they live in. Because in the world of Draoithe, the rules of magic are absolutely everything, and they set the stage for the entire story. What's really interesting is how the author frames this series. She calls it a saga. And that's not just a fancy word, it's a very deliberate choice. It's telling us right from the jump that this isn't just one love story. Nope. It's a single, critical piece of a much, much bigger narrative. It means the stakes for every single character are higher, the history runs deeper, and their actions, they create ripples across their entire world.
So, what are the rules of this dream? First off, it's an urban fantasy, but it's all happening in this magical version of Tyler, Texas. And here, every myth, every legend you've ever heard of, they're real and they're walking around. The real engine of this story, though, is this idea of fated mates. They have to find each other, because their union is literally what keeps the magical balance in check. So the takeaway here is crucial. Every romance is tied directly to the fate of the whole world.
And it's in this world of fated mates and cosmic balance that we meet our heroine, Hannah O'Keefe. But to really get her story, you have to first understand the profound, gut-wrenching trauma that has just completely shattered her spirit and her will.
The book actually describes her with this phrase, a dishonorable oath breaker. But here's the thing. This has nothing to do with a moral failing. It's not something she did, it's a magical state of being. It means she's broken, unable to control her own body, her own actions.
This quote, it's a chilling, horrifying glimpse into what she's been through. It's a memory from when she was held captive, and her abusers used the sun as a weapon against her new vampire nature. For Hannah, this isn't just a bad memory. No, it's an active, living trauma that dictates every single moment of her life.
So what is this dark magic exactly? It's a curse. Hannah was killed and brought back to life not once, but 3 times using corrupted dragon blood. And the result? Her body is now a prison. Her mind is completely her own, but her body is a traitor, magically forced to obey any command someone gives her. She's a puppet, and absolutely anyone can pick up the strings.
And that, of course, brings us to our other main character, Flame. He's not just some hero who happens to show up. He is presented as the fated, destined solution to Hannah's impossible problem. He is her protector.
And the contrast between them couldn't be more stark. I mean, look at this. She's a young, newly turned Vjestice vampire, which is a super rare kind. And he's this ancient, incredibly powerful dragon. The roles are laid out crystal clear. She is the broken, and he is the protector. The author sets them up as these two halves of a whole, but they're defined by this huge imbalance of power, of age, of experience.
But of course, there's a prophecy that makes everything way more complicated. Centuries ago, a necromancer foretold that Flame's mate would be broken by another. He has been waiting for 600 years, not just for his soulmate, but specifically for a woman who has been completely shattered by someone else. Think about that. His destiny isn't just to find love, it's to find love in a person who is defined by their trauma.
So, this right here sets up the core conflict of the book. It's not about fighting some big bad monster. The real battle is internal. It's about Flame's agonizing moral dilemma. How in the world do you save the woman you are fated to protect when the very act of saving her could be the thing that destroys her?
Seriously, just think about this for a second. The very curse that makes Hannah so vulnerable is what makes saving her an ethical nightmare. If she is magically compelled to obey any command, how can she ever give real consent? How can you help her without just becoming another person controlling her? It's a trap.
These are his choices, and let me tell you, none of them are good. Option 1. He can do nothing. Just stand by and watch her despair literally consume her until she fades out of existence. Option 2. He can command her to accept him, using the curse against her and becoming the exact same kind of monster as her abusers. Or, Option 3. He can sacrifice his own honor, his own code, and force a magical bond to save her life, and in doing so, completely take away her choice in that moment.
It's a total zero-sum game. You can see it right here. To save Hannah's life, he feels like he has to sacrifice either his own honor or her free will. There is simply no path forward where all three of these things, his honor, her will, her life, can survive intact. It's a completely impossible moral equation.
Now, as we get closer to the climax, the story throws in another layer that kind of shifts the whole focus from choice to destiny. It starts to suggest that maybe their path was written in the stars a long, long time ago, which just twists the knife on Flame's dilemma even further.
A Nephilim, a powerful being who can see the future, gives Hannah this vision. And this is where the story makes its boldest, and maybe its most controversial move. It frames the climax not as a violation, but as this painful, fated, and necessary step for her to be free. The story itself is telling us that his act of force is her only path to salvation.
And in the end, Flame makes his choice. He gives her this one single command. He doesn't command her to love him. He doesn't command her to submit. He just commands her to look at him and to not look away, forcing a connection so she can feel the absolute truth of his love through their magical bond as he takes her. It is an act of force, yes, but one that's designed to prove his truth and ultimately break her curse.
And that leaves us with the central question of the entire novel. If prophecy and magic are all pointing to this one outcome, does free will even matter anymore? The story lives on this razor's edge between coercion and destiny, and it asks us to think about a deeply uncomfortable question. Is an act that saves someone's life but robs them of their choice in that moment an act of love, or is it an act of control? And that, right there, is the dark oath at the very heart of this story.
I sincerely hope you enjoyed this view of a story skeleton, glimpsing the characters, setting, and plot structure along with the twists within the writing in this tale from the Draoithe Saga by Ophelia Kee. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more original stories and audio adventures. A special thank you to OK Music Writers for writing and for sharing the Enter the Dream soundtrack. It's more than a story, it's an experience. Welcome to the dream.